Hello, and welcome to this Inner Circle Update podcast episode of SparkHub. This episode will differ only in that it's just me. My name is Allan. No guest on this podcast. It's just really an update on SparkHub, where we're at, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and to give you a little bit of insight into what the SparkHub Inner Circle is. So to begin with, I'm going to hark back to nearly a decade ago when my wife and I had our first son, and a couple of years later we had another son. And within their young lives, I was, as any parent might be, constantly wondering what are opportunities to spark their imagination, to spark their learning outside of the classroom. What are the sort of non-formal ways of educating people? And there's an expression that I like, which is called "opportunity favors the prepared mind." And if you think of that a little more deeply, you can think that maybe one day there's an opportunity for your children as an adult. But how do you back into a way of getting them there and sparking their imagination? And then, as you can probably guess, creating a hub for that and creating something that's sparkful was how we ended up with the name SparkHub. I managed to raise some finance on Kickstarter as well as through an angel investor. And we spent that money on a brand ecosystem working with an agency called Someone in London. There's a video you can watch if you're interested. I'll put the link below. And once we had that branding and we had a prototype, we were ready to kind of go to market. And then something happened. Well, a couple of things happened. Firstly, we were going to move house. So anyone who's ever moved house and then entered into renovations knows how stressful that is to have two kids. And two startups I was working on got funded. So I had to divert my attention there because I like to do things well and not juggle too many plates. So that became my focus recently. And then the pandemic hit. 2020, and I can't tell you how hard it was to have to do homeschooling, and I'm going to, full disclosure, it was a huge burden on my wife more than it was me, because I still had to try and work, and to have your home become a home and a workplace and a school and a place to go to bed and try to entertain, it was brutal. And anyone who's lived through the pandemic having to homeschool probably has similar tales, but what it suddenly did for me was wake me up and dust SparkHub off and wonder if there was legs in it again. And legs specifically around a couple of areas. I found that when I'm looking for content for my children online, be it video content or products, it's a very jumbled world. It's a very busy world online and fragmented, and I just wanted a place that was frankly curated and convenient, and so I thought maybe I could create that, the hub, as it were. And so I began on that journey again, and what resulted was when I showed the branding that we had created nearly half a decade ago to somebody who is a music composer. His name's Yao Xin, and again, there's a video on what he did. He came along and created the soundscape for SparkHub. So this mnemonic, and he created original music like this. And this. And so now I had a little bit more in my arsenal. But I still am busy, and I decided instead of rushing ahead and trying to boil the ocean in the way I would want to do things and create SparkHub at the level I want to, I had access to wonderful people who were creative or who had a deep understanding of a particular topic. And so SparkHub is currently a podcast. It is conversations I'm having with people, and it's leveraging the soundscape we've created. And as of today, that is the product, if you will. And I'm going to continue to create more and more great content. However, the inner circle is a step behind that. So what lies beneath the podcast is a wider ecosystem. We've built a prototype at the current moment to sort of test stuff out, see how it works. We're happy to collaborate with people. We're happy to talk joint ventures. And so that's really going to be the interesting and fluid part of SparkHub that happens sort of behind the scenes. And if you're willing to part with your email address through the sign-up form to join the inner circle, then I will bring you into that inner circle and give you access to other things that are going on behind the scenes. I hope this becomes a wider business one day. I will be working on it, but I don't have a timeline, and I certainly am not going to create artificial deadlines. So that's sort of an update as to where we are today. And I hope you're enjoying the episodes I'm creating so far. And I hope that if the Inner Circle is of interest for you, you'll get in touch and you can go on a longer journey with me. Thank you very much for listening, and hope you enjoy SparkHub. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you hear, you can dive into a lot more on thesparkhub.com.